Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to follow up that first video that I made with a second video to talk a little bit about Chapter 7 in Honors College Accounting, taking a look at just calculating some depreciation expense for the year, and then also moving on into a little bit of disposal as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with this video just being depreciation expense for the year. Like we learned last year, we're going to continue using straight line, okay? So this part of the chapter, we're just using straight line, keeping it nice and simple. So this should seem a little familiar to you as we work through it. You can see that I'm using my slideshow, which is in Canvas. I'm on about slide number 19, and that starts talking a little bit about depreciation expense and the fact that every year you've got to calculate a depreciation expense for every single plant asset that you have, okay? Now, the way that we do that is going to be by using straight line, okay? Well, let me try to move this guy out of the way. Whoa. All right, there you go, okay. By using straight line. To use straight line depreciation, you've got to know the three things. You've got to know the original cost of the item, salvage value that you hope to get when you sell it, again, given by industry standards and stuff, and then also the estimated useful life, okay? So if you know those three things, you can figure out about how much the depreciation expense is going to be per year, all right? So maybe you started looking at the next application problems. Let me go ahead and pull those into your view. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you can say goodbye to my face here so you can see the screen a little bit better. But yeah, so we did in our last video, we went ahead and bought some office equipment, we bought a building and some land, and we bought some store equipment, okay? When we purchased those things, we put them into the plant asset records. We only filled this top part though, okay? We only filled that top part. And for the copy machine, the shelving unit, and then of course the storage building, the land is not going to get depreciated, but we still put it in down here with its estimated original cost, okay? So the next thing that we did in class, and you can see that mine is completely filled in now, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of and just kind of shade these things down here so you can't really get distracted by them. But the next thing that we did in class is we calculated 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, and we paused there, okay? So even though a lot of these units are going to be used past 2014, I just filled in through 2014, okay? So let's start with the copy machine. The copy machine was bought in January, okay? This makes things a little easier. That means the first year I owned it, which let's just say is 2011, I used it early January through late, like all of December. So that's considered one full year, okay? If I had purchased it on the 15th or later, that month does not count, okay? So if I had purchased it January 18th, I would only have used it 11 months of 2011. But no, nice and easy. I'm going to use it all of 2011, 2012, 13, and 14. How do I figure out the annual depreciation expense? Well, you can see that I put this into my notes that with straight line, I'm going to take original cost minus my estimated salvage value and divide that by the years of useful life. When I do that, okay, you can see I took B5, which is 2,400 minus 200, that's in parentheses, and divided it by 5 for 5 years. When I do that, I get 4,400 per year. Okay, so these are 4 solid years. The first year is 440 because no previous accumulated depreciation. The second year is going to equal 440 plus the new 440. The next year is going to be 880 plus the new 440 will equal 1320. And finally, 1320 plus 440 equals 1760. Each year, the ending value goes down from 2,400 just a little bit, okay? So that's the first one. If you need to pause and work that on your own, go for it. The next one is a shelving unit. And this one, again, None of this pink is filled in for you yet, okay, because mine's completely done. So just pay attention to this top part, which you should have filled in. We bought it August 22nd. Oof, that means we got to count. Feel free to use your fingers, okay? We did not use it August, all right, because we bought it August 22nd, too late in the month. So we used it September 1, October 2, November 3, and December 4. So I used it 4 months in 2011, 4 months of 11, and then I used it all of 12, 13, and 14. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find the annual depreciation, but this time I'm going to calculate it in 2012 because that's the first full year, okay? So that's just kind of my little trick that I do. I do this calculation down here. I take 4,800 minus 1,000, divide the whole thing by 5, and that gives me 760 per year. The first year I only used it 4 months, 4 over 12, okay? So I'm going to take 4 over 12 times 760, and that will give me the first year. So again, a little review from last year. Fill 2014 in. You should be down to 22.66 and 67 cents. All right. Last one for now is the storage building. Let's do this. September, late September. So that means I used it all of October 1, November 2, and December 3. Okay. So that's why I put 3 months here of 2011. Right here, I calculated my full depreciation, which is 180,000 minus 60,000 divided by 25. Okay, so looks like I just pasted that from someplace else. So let me show you again what I did. Equals, open parentheses, 180 minus 60, close parentheses, divide by 25 years. Okay, so that's how I got 4,800. How I got 1,200 is I took 3/12 of 480. Okay, so I took equals 3 over 12 times 480. Okay, so again, pause this video. Make sure that you're all filled in for through 2014 for the building, the shelf, and the copy machine. Now, every year that I do this, I also journalize this annual depreciation number. Okay, and I'm not going to journalize it as an expense to copy machine. I'm going to journalize it as an expense to office equipment. I might have 30 or 40 pieces of office equipment. I'm going to add all of those numbers, 440 plus whatever, and do one debit to depreciation expense office equipment, one credit to accumulated depreciation office equipment. I'm also going to do a transaction where I depreciate store equipment. That's going to include the shelving unit. And then finally, I'm going to do a adjusting entry that pulls money away from the storage building. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next tab and do an example of journalizing the adjusting entries for, while we were in class the other day, I picked journalizing the adjusting entries for 2014. Okay, so I'm going to make those a nice light blue. Okay, so that's what I'm journalizing for office equipment, 440. This is what I'm going to be journalizing for store equipment. And then this is what I'm going to be journalizing for building. Okay, again, nothing for land because land does not go down in value. We pay property taxes on land, but don't depreciate it. Okay, so you're going to go to your general journal. Now, where I put my general journal is in this next tab. The next tab, I put a bunch of stuff in here, and you don't need it all, but I thought it would be good to just show you what other types of plan asset records look like. You don't have to fill these in, okay? But this is how they look like. Okay, this is what they look like. So let's go ahead and journalize in this general journal that 2014 adjusting entry. Every time we journalize the adjusting entry, we're going to have to do 3, one for each type of equipment. Okay, one for the 2 types of equipment, I should say, and for the building. So I put in the year so you know where I'm pulling the number. This was for the first one. Okay, remember I linked that to, wait for it, copy machine right here, 440. Okay, the next one is for the shelving unit, and then the next one is for the building, and that was for 2014. Okay, so every year I do that. Okay, that was basically one of our lessons that we did a few days ago. So feel free to go ahead and make sure that you've got filled in app 7-1 number 1. Make sure you have filled in everything except for everything through 2014 for app 7-1 number 2, and then fill in this general journal. Okay, so this is a nice short video. I'm going to send you guys another one that goes over the sale of plant assets and the disposal. All right, I'll probably make that one in a little bit here. Okay, have a great day. Again, this is part 2 of about 4 parts of this chapter. Okay, so this is just part 2. See you soon.